kind of also just reminds me of like, because it doesn't look what you would consider a well, like typically consider a well, and this is in your neighborhood, you would also be very disconnected from the fact that there's thousands of gallons being pumped every so often.
Completely. Yeah, it's just like we're kind of disconnected from our food chain. We're also disconnected from our water. That's for sure. And so you made me think of something, and now I can't remember. But yes, very unassuming, and I wonder if we could go and look. I wonder if there's a place you could go look and find, like, hey, where's the groundwater well in my neighborhood? I believe that WRD is working on an interactive tool to be able to interact with the wells in your neighborhood and see kind of how they're functioning. Okay. Oh my goodness, it's already 5:20. Okay, so I usually got a lot of slides, guys. I guess main point being here, so just a little history. So in the early 1900s, we were really over pumping, and wells were going dry. All right, and so that's when those adjudication, that's when the court was adjudicating these water rights. And that's why WRD was formed. So in 1959, from a vote of the people, the Water Replenishment District was formed because people were like, hey, we need a governing body to be able to make sure that everyone has water, and so that we can all pump. And so basically, we manage these groundwater basins by replenishing the groundwater. These are these big spreading grounds that I was talking about, where it's like if you put water over this area, it's all going to percolate in. We clean up different contamination sites, sometimes from natural causes, other times from human-made influences. We monitor all of these groundwater wells, so we might not be pumping, but we have our own wells, like these ones, because we have a lot of monitoring wells where we're able to obviously monitor groundwater quality. And then we also do a lot of basin modeling, right? And so that's how you would come up with some of those numbers of who should have what and how much water, or how much are we getting from underflow from these other areas and how much are we losing. And you can start calculating those out with groundwater models. I'm going to just skip over this. So here we can take a look at like the recharge and how that kind of works. All right, so what's this? So these are these big spreading grounds. This is our way of managing our groundwater. So it's kind of interesting too, like every drop of water that comes through those pipes is also managed. It's no accident that it's there. It's all calculated, it's all diverted. There's a lot that goes into getting us that water into our taps. And so what was happening also in the early 1900s was that we had, so before the early 1900s, let's say when the Tonga was there, we had fresh water and we had ocean water with brackish water or salty water in between, a mix of the two, kind of keeping an equilibrium. All right, so we have sea level, we have an equilibrium. Then what was happening is we were pumping out so much of that water that the water table fell, all right? And so now we're below sea level. And so what started happening is we were inviting that ocean water to come in and creating all this brackish water in effect. So, so then we were starting to pump out brackish water, which is water that's too salty for us to use or drink. So then what we started doing, and WRD also manages this, is that we started actively injecting fresh water into a seawater barrier. All right, and so what that did is that kept the seawater at bay and allowed the rest of the aquifers to be restored. Okay, and so, so nowadays, this is back from the 60s till today, we have some sources of local water, right? So we do get some rain, we do get those 15 inches. We have a lot of imported water, but we can notice that that is really diminishing because of our use of recycled water. All right? I'm just going to keep going, guys. And so we've seen a really good rebound. So here we have that 1960s, and we were really able to rebound. And this is actually a kind of cool graph too. So this was showing our drought that we just came out of. So this is the actual levels of where the water table was. This is the level it would have been if we didn't have recycled water. So we've already been using a lot of recycled water, but augmenting it a lot, and it's really helped us. That really helped us through the drought. All right, so I'm going to skip through all these. This is the treatment plant that we're opening up in Pico Rivera. So it's under construction right now. The water treatment plant is here, and this is going to be an educational learning center. So we're really excited about that. And it's right on the San Gabriel River. So right at the top of the picture there is the San Gabriel River. And so this will treat water that we'll be able to actually inject right back into the ground on site, or we'll be able to put it back, divert it into the San Gabriel spreading grounds, which is just a mile away. So it's essentially like putting it back in the river.
When is it going to open?
So it's slated, this should be producing water by the end of the year, and then opening up like early 2019 for the education center. So we're really excited. And I think I might leave us with that. Oh, Lindsay wanted us to also understand, I know she's like such a scientist, right? Her slides, I'm like, oh, Lindsay. But I think it's great because what she wants to show is that we're just one of many projects in the state. All right, so there's so many groups that are pursuing these kinds of these projects. So this is the different grants and the different monies that we've gotten for that GRIP facility. GRIP is the Groundwater Reliability Improvement Project. That's the big plant we're opening up. But it's just one of many of these systems. So there's so many people constantly trying to find new and innovative ways to make sure that when we turn on the tap, that water's coming out. And one last note here too is that a lot of that infrastructure that we saw that I showed you guys, which was the Colorado River Aqueduct, the state California or the state water project, those were all made, like, let's say in the 1900s or early 1900s. Those were some of the wettest years out of the last 1,200 years. So what we assumed was normal rainfall or normal runoff really was a little bit of a miscalculation or a misnomer. So that's something that, when we're saying like, okay, this drought is the new normal, it's because it kind of already was the norm for us to be a lot drier. And then climate change will only exacerbate this. So essentially, I think I will leave it at that because I know that was supposed to finish 5 minutes ago. So thank you, and sorry, Gwen. But so I just wanted to remind you guys, or to impress upon you guys that there are a lot of people that are working really hard to find innovative and creative ways to keep water, water pumping essentially, and that that recycled water is a really great local sustainable source that will help us move forward and not have to use all of that imported water, which has a lot of environmental impacts, which all those aqueducts too cross the San Andreas Fault. So they're all susceptible to earthquakes. And then my last plug would be that we maximize those recycled water sources and uses and our groundwater storage space before we turn to ocean desal. Because that reverse osmosis that I showed you that we're using for wastewater, we need to use a lot less energy on treating wastewater than we do for ocean seawater. And so we're lucky in LA County that we have all this groundwater storage. We can clean the water and we can put it in the ground. Other places aren't as fortunate, so maybe they have to consider desal in a quicker or that's seems more viable for them. But I feel like we can look to these ways also first before we before we turn to that. So thank you guys so much. Sorry to go over, Gwen. Yeah.